Hi, my name is Bob and welcome back to the homestead, y'all. Well, it's time to plant what I call our second garden. It's second week of July, so I like to plant a few things. That way we keep fresh vegetables all the way till first frost. And squash and zucchini is one of those things. I have a couple zucchini seeds here and 4 squash seeds. And I'm going to plant right down here. I have 3 holes left open. I'm going to plant 2 squash seeds in each of 2 of them. And then these last 2 zucchini seeds in the last hole in the very back. And what that'll do is that'll keep us fresh squash and zucchini right up till first frost. All these squash and zucchini here, these are what we're going to use. We'll can these, we'll freeze dry them. And then all these plants here, these are the ones I'm going to cross-pollinate to save our seeds for next year. Now I have 16 squash plants and I have 8 zucchini plants down through here. And I'll take pollen from one and put it on another. I'll pick out the best plants that are the healthiest and doing the best. And those are the ones I'll pollinate. And then I'll mark them with a piece of yarn. But I'll make a video on that. These need pruned back right now because we've been having a lot of rain. And I'm afraid that we're going to get powdery mildew. So tomorrow, that's my plan for tomorrow, is to come in here, cut all these squash and zucchini back, and then go ahead and pollinate them and mark them so that way we can save our heirloom seeds for next year and get the best genetics we can. But for today, I'm going to plant the squash and zucchini, and then I'm going to plant some more beans, and we're going to plant about 25 more tomato plants. And like I said, that'll keep us in fresh vegetables right up till first frost. So let me plant these real quick, and then we'll move over here and we'll plant some beans. Get those planted. So that should have us 4 more squash plants and 2 more zucchini plants. These are going to die back in September. They'll vine out and they'll quit producing vegetables. But by then, these are going to be big. They're going to be producing vegetables. And that'll give us fresh squash and fresh zucchini to eat at night. So we can come out here in the evenings, pick our squash and zucchini and go in and cook it right up till first frost. Now we're going to plant some beans, so that way we can do the same thing with beans. We can come out here in the evenings, we can pick fresh squash, fresh zucchini, and fresh green beans, and fresh tomatoes to have for supper every evening. And then of course once first frost comes, it'll kill them all back and we'll plant cover crops. This row here is where we're going to plant our beans. You can see we have 3 rows, almost 100 foot long of beans. Every year whenever we plant our beans, I know all of them aren't going to come up, and I don't worry about that because I know in July I'm going to plant some more, so I just plant in those empty spots. This year was a little bit different though. Our beans sprouted and got up about 4 or 5 inches tall, and I came out here a couple mornings and there's a few beans that were gone. They were just cut off and eat at the ground. And then another couple mornings went by and I noticed some more. So I got to sitting out here one evening, and we have 2-inch by 4-inch wire fencing all the way around our garden spot. So that generally keeps the rabbits out, but there was a little bitty baby rabbit coming in here about that big. He was coming in here through the fence and he was coming in here and eating our beans. So I took care of that where he was coming in at and took care of that problem. And I was going to go back and replant all those beans, and I decided not to. I decided I would just go ahead and plant them now. So I have my handful of beans. These are Roma 2s. They're about a 55-day maturity. It takes about 55 days. So 55 days from today, well, roughly 2 months, is going to take us around the 1st of September, somewhere in there, the 2nd week of September. So we should still get plenty of beans off of these, even though we're not planting them until the 2nd week of July. So I'm going to go ahead and plant these real quick. That has our beans planted. I have 7 bell pepper plants here. These are red bell peppers that I want to plant. We have bell peppers here. We have orange ones and we have green ones growing. And I have 4 spots left at the end, or 5 spots left at the end. So I'm going to go ahead and plant these peppers. I started these a little bit late. Peppers like warm, dry weather anyhow. So they really don't take off until about July around here in Tennessee. So I'm going to go ahead and plant these down there, and those will give us fresh peppers right up till first frost also. Alright, I have about 25 tomato plants total. They're not all here because it's not going to take that many to finish this row. Then we're going to start another row behind me, going back that way. But what these are the suckers that I cut off our tomato plants from our monster tomato grow. And some of them are the suckers I cut off our tomato plants here in our main garden also. So the different pots are the different ones that I have. Some of these are jet setters, and some of them, these and this bigger one, are Amish paste. So that way we're going to have fresh tomatoes right up till first frost. So I'm going to go ahead and plant these. I have some bamboo sticks here behind me. I'm just going to stake them real quick tonight with a bamboo stick because we've been having storms, and then tomorrow I'm going to come out here and I'll get more tomato cages and I'll go around all these with tomato cages tomorrow. So I've got to get going because I see it looks like some rain coming, and hopefully I can get all these planted before the rain. But I have me a bucket here. I have some compost and some worm castings that I'm going to put in the hole with each of these plants. So that way it'll give them just a little bit of boost till their roots get down into this good soil. So we're going to plant these right in the residue that's left from our cover crops. So I'm just going to dig a hole, try to get about 3 foot apart here. These other ones. Dig down through these cover crops. Just make a hole for these. And then, like I said, I'm going to put some of this compost and these worm castings in around them. We'll just take these little cuttings. Now, I took these cuttings about 3 weeks ago. I put them in water for a week. They rooted, and then I put them in these little 4-inch pots after a week once they rooted. And you can see all the pretty white roots on them now. They've took off great. This is great potting soil that I have them in. This is mostly compost with some worm castings. We'll just put those down in there. Like I said, we're just going to put a couple little handfuls of this compost and worm castings around it, just to help give them a little boost. Now you can see I have some clover growing here. I'm not going to pull that. I'm just going to leave that clover growing because that's going to be depositing nitrogen into the soil. Not a whole lot, but some. Okay, I can hear the rain coming. It's going to be here any minute, so I'm going to have to stop recording. But that's the 5 crops you can plant in July. That's what we do every year. We plant these 5 crops in July. We plant our squash, our zucchini, beans, usually some more pepper plants. Now, pepper plants have a little bit longer maturity date, but as long as you start the seeds back at the beginning of June and then plant your pepper plants in July, then you're going to get peppers on them before first frost. Now that's where we're at. We're like a 6B, 6A, 6B, something like that, our zone. We're at a little bit higher altitude. We're at 2,100 feet. So that takes us closer to the 5, zone 5 range, but still, there's still plenty of time. We usually get our first frost in October, usually the middle of October. So that still leaves us plenty of time. Still leaves us plenty of time to get plenty of tomatoes, squash, zucchini, beans, and peppers off of these plants. So if you want to plant 5 plants in July, those are the 5 to plant. If you have any questions or comments on this video, please leave them below, and thanks for watching.